This is The Clash, where the real world clashes with a true Christian worldview. Join former professional wrestler Chris Whaley, known as the Masked Saint, who is an author, pastor, and teacher that brings his wrestling skills into the squared circle and tackles real-life issues. Along with Jeff Dixon, best-selling author, internationally known teacher, leader, and pastor who is not afraid to tackle the tough issues of the world we live in. Together they form a tag team of wisdom in The Clash.
Hi, welcome to The Clash, where we take a Christian worldview, allow it to clash into the culture around us, and when we're done, hopefully we create a few minutes that will entertain, encourage, educate, and when you're done, you'll feel like it's time well spent, and hopefully you feel like you spend some time with some old friends. I'm Jeff Dixon, sitting right across the table here from Chris Whaley, but I gotta tell you, I'm a little bit, a little bit anxious about this episode, Chris.
Why are you anxious?
Because of what this episode is. Because for years now, for different seasons here on The Clash, I have introduced you by your wrestling moniker, what I have known you as for years, the Saint.
The Saint, right.
However, today we're going to be talking to Fidel Sierra again, and come to find out,
Yep.
he also wrestled with a white mask on and went by
The Saint. Yep.
And so this episode, and we're going to get to it at some point over the course of the next few minutes, is Who's the Real Saint episode.
Yeah.
And it might change forever, this dynamic. I might have to introduce you as the guy in the hat or something.
Yeah, we all know who the real Saint is. we all know who that is. But it's going to be fun because, you know, we get to interview some great people, but this guy's got some great stories, and I think you're really going to enjoy our interview with Fidel Sierra.
Well, and before we cut over to it, we're getting ready to go to a break. But as we go to the break, we're going to take you to an image of you with Fidel going at it back in the day.
Back in the day.
In the heyday, and a black and white classic photo of you guys just having at it.
And it was the only time that I worked without a mask.
Really?
Yeah. I did not
just
work
like
with
this is a real you.
Yeah, this was the real me. This was like 1993.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to see that image, then you're going to get to have a break, and we'll be back and jump into the episode, okay? Stay with us.
Bye.
Chris, I was just thinking while we take a break here in the show,
Yeah.
wouldn't it be nice if you could go somewhere and shop and get high quality merchandise that would have a lasting impact? Wouldn't that be good?
I think that would be absolutely awesome.
Well, I've got a suggestion for you, because what is your favorite saying?
Don't tap out.
Look at that. How about a Don't
Holy
Tap Out
smokes,
t-shirt, and
don't
look at the
tap
logo
out.
on the back.
What's on the back? The Clash.
The Clash. That's one of my favorite shows.
You know, it's on my top list too.
And, people could go and buy this from our store. Now, you say, how do you get to the store? Well, right now, there's a QR code on the screen. If they use that QR code, they can go and they can buy, name something. We'll see if they can buy it there. What do we want? What to buy?
Probably, I want to get a long sleeve hoodie.
You know what? You can get a long sleeve hoodie there.
Really?
Yeah, and you know what else? If you had a baby tomorrow, you could get Clash baby gear at that same store. Yep, you can get that. All this available at the Clash store. So if you haven't been to the Clash store, you're one of the few people in America that hasn't been there yet.
Yeah.
And so check it out. Buy our stuff. It makes us money. It makes us happy.
Yeah.
Okay. Go to the Clash store. Fidel, I got a question for you. And I'm not sure. I guess if you were here, this might cause a fight to break out. I'm just saying, it could. You never know. But I do this show with Chris, and every week when I do the introduction, I introduce him as the Saint. But at one point, you were the Saint. Is that correct?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
what I need to know is, who's the real Saint here?
Which saint came first? I always say the same.
Well, I think Dusty gave you that he gave you
Dusty,
that
baby, yeah,
handle,
Dusty.
Dusty
Dusty
Rhodes.
came up to me, but I don't know if you had that before me.
Yeah,
Maybe you did. I don't know
Nine-
because
I
I
started in
remember.
1978, so
So,
that was when
see,
I
that's
was the
when I
Saint.
started too, but I didn't get the Saint name. I didn't get that Saint name till later on. Dusty was the booker, and the way I got that was I was in Orlando, Florida. I came here visiting on vacation. I came home for a couple of weeks. Yeah, he fell asleep. Okay, he was involved in a heavy angle in Orlando with Dusty and all them. He
Yeah.
was already into the ring, and when it was time for him to come out, he didn't come out. He had fallen asleep. So Dusty said to me, he said, come by the office tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I want to have a meeting with you. So I come to the office, and Dusty said, Gene Lewis, that's the guy's name.
Oh yeah, Junior. Yeah.
Yeah, he said, I let Gene Lewis go because I can't have people, that, if you're involved in something that heavy. He was not that he was drinking or doing anything, he just fell asleep. And I know it's a long time to be underneath the ring, but you're involved, so you do whatever you got to do to stay awake. And so I'm offering you this position, but I need to come up with something for you. And he's got his boots on the deal. He said, what can I name you, baby? Dusty stuff. And, and I'm thinking, and he goes, I got it. And I said, okay. He said, we're going to call you the Saint. And I said, yeah, but there's already been the Saint. Not you. I've been El Santo from
Yeah.
Mexico is
Right.
Saint.
Right.
And I said, he goes, baby, don't worry about that. It has nothing to do with this. And then he said, but I'm visualizing you in a white spandex with a white spandex mask and a gold halo and gold letters on the side that say the Saint. And I said, how about I wear spandex gloves too? I love the way you're thinking, he told me. and that's how I became the Saint. And I ended up teaming with God the late Jim Neidhart, and me and him and Crusher Khrushchev, and we feuded with the Freebirds and Dutch Mantel, and we had some crazy heat back then because I was like the Cuban guy, the Saint Cuban, with Crusher Khrushchev going as a Russian, and Jim Neidhart, who I had turned to Code American, where I turned him, and man, the heat was like Orlando there every Sunday.
Yeah.
Eddie
Yeah.
Graham, he helped me out a few times. Every Sunday, somebody would try to fight us.
Hey, I'm Chris Whaley. I went from professional wrestling for 10 years, wrestling some of the biggest names in the business, 4 world champions, and I left the wrestling world to become a pastor. And I wrote a book about that transition because when I became a pastor, I found out that there were some people being abused and people being mistreated. And I ended up dealing with some people more as a professional wrestler than I did as a pastor. And I wrote a book about that transition called The Masked Saint. And it's available along with my other book, which is Harold's Heavenly Christmas. If you like Christmas stories, you're going to love this one. And one day it's going to be a movie. And then my last book is Mr. President. Has 2 lives, a comedian and the world heavyweight wrestling champion. And it is a great read. Some of the biggest stars that you shared the locker room with, you've mentioned some of them, but what were they like behind the curtain?
I'm lucky. I mean, I can always say like Andre. Andre was I was lucky that Andre liked me. I've seen people that he wasn't mean to, but he didn't care for,
Yeah.
or he just So, like in Japan, I would be there and Andre would say, "Don't say nothing to nobody but you and Mass Superstar Bill Eadie come to with me. My sponsor is buying us dinner tonight."
Oh
And
wow.
then he said, "But don't tell nobody." And at one time we did it, and I love Dick Murdoch. God bless his soul. He ended up just coming in. I guess somehow he found out. He walked right in, and Andre wasn't going to be rude to him and tell him, "You can't sit here and eat with us." He could have been, but he didn't. And but people like Andre and uh,
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair, Ric Flair, I always got along with. Uh, I was there with the uh, Vader guy. Got in a big fight with Paul Orndorff in WCW.
Yeah,
I don't know
Vader.
if you ever heard about that.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I was right there, witnessed the whole thing. It was all God bless Vader. Uh, I liked him, but he was a bully to an extent because I would see him go to Jody Hamilton, the original assassin, and he would handpick his opponent, two guys to wrestle to beat, and he would pick the smallest guys, and then I felt like he bullied them. You know what I mean? He stiffed them and all that, but he got what he had coming to him when he pulled what he did with Orndorff,
Yeah.
all over being late
Hmm.
and lying. Paul Orndorff was just doing his job. Said, "Why are you late?" And he said he had called Janie Angle, who worked for WCW, and she said that's not true. And he came back, and Orndorff said, "You're a liar." And brother, he jumped up and followed Orndorff out. And as soon as he walked out, he sucker punched Paul Orndorff. And Paul Orndorff was in flip flops, and I never seen Paul Orndorff. He, he kicked Vader so many times in the face with his bare feet that he knocked him out. His eyes rolled back. He was bleeding out his nose. And I said, "Wow." And I always knew that Paul was a tough, he was,
Yeah.
really tough guy. And then Vader came back to, I'll give it to you. Vader came out of being knocked out and went right back into the room and tried to fight Orndorff again. And Orndorff knocked him out again.
God.
And Ric Flair,
Oh.
remember this though. I remember Ric Flair said, "Big Man, you need to break that up to me." And I used to call Rick. We would joke what I call him Beak because he had that big nose. I said, "You break it up, Beak. I ain't getting in the middle of all that." And he didn't want to get in the middle of it either. I said, "So what makes you think I'm going to get in the middle of that?"
All right,
But
Jeff,
that
go.
that was that was a pretty tough. That was well,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. Whew.
Yeah.
Well, Fidel, today, I mean, wrestling, of course, is as big as ever. The industry has changed a lot, and you've seen a lot of those changes. I mean, what do you think about wrestling today? Do you even watch a lot of it today, or are you
Here's what
just?
I do. I tell you the honest truth. I do still watch a lot of wrestling. I I watch Raw and I'll watch SmackDown and I'll watch. I watched one match the other day, AEW, and I couldn't take it. Changed the channel. And I don't mean that bad because they got guys trying to work hard, but you just if it ain't written right, it ain't gonna come out right. I
Yeah.
watched TNA last night I watched the women's match and then the guys match. I can't think of his name. Dolph Ziggler used to be in WWE.
Yeah.
What a worker he is. Those are the only two. I watched a little bit of the other change, and then I seen the girls match, and they were like, I'll tell you what's involved in this business today. is no one would have ever thought in the 80s that the women would be able to wrestle on TV in the main event and carry the show like they do nowadays.
They do.
Oh yeah, yeah,
They're incredible. Great athletes.
And
Yeah.
I mean to all those women out there, they really work hard, and I respect that so much. And I'm so glad to see that. Where maybe some guys are probably, oh, she's in my spot. That should be in the last match, or but they work hard. They work just as hard as the men.
Yeah.
yeah.
They do. They're
They
great.
do. Do you think today's wrestlers understand the psychology and the storytelling of wrestling the way the old school wrestlers did?
No, that's what's missing in our business. They'll they'll have one match and might tell a little bit of a story, and they might, but then it just gets lost in the shuffle, and that's what's missing in our business. I think I watched this show, and they try to squeeze so much into their 2 hours, where it becomes over. You don't remember what happened two matches before or a match before because there's so much happened in between.
Yeah,
And so I think that storytelling is what's missing in our business. The psychology and the storytelling. If you, but then again, if you have, I guess they look at it. Well, we got this many people on contract. We gotta, get our money, make our money somehow. But I just, I think if they could cut down on some of the stuff and make it more. But then some people, nowadays, social media eats you up. I mean,
yeah,
you could be the best. There could be the best match in the world out there, and and you'll go to social media afterwards, and it's that was the worst, this and that. They do it to try to get not the wrestlers going, to get each other going.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it aggravates me when when I watch the match and then I see it and I want to just say, did you? Are we watching the same? Did we watch the same match? But
Phil, I have a question for you. Because when we were starting the interview, you said that you had just signed. You're 70 years old. You just signed a match. So you're never going to retire. Is that what I'm hearing? There's no retirement in your future.
God, you know what? I'm 70 years old. I try to work out 3 times at least a week. I'm a little overweight, but I'm trying to get that under control because being sick and just, hey, then you don't work out or nothing. You
Yeah.
just eat. You just, but I do. I have my aches, Chris. I know you do too. Just
Oh yeah,
we have the aches, but I
yeah,
have this love for this business that I hate to hear this when I hear it, but I sort of feel the same. Ric Flair says if he dies, he wants to die in the ring.
yeah,
And I don't mean that, but if God's going to take me, the man upstairs, God, I hope it's in the wrestling ring and not just be suffering, dying of cancer or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's up to the man upstairs. Nobody's
Sure.
promised tomorrow. I always tell people that. I
Yeah.
said, brother, live for today because we're not. Nobody's promised tomorrow.
That's
yeah.
true.
We don't,
You're right.
Hey,
and I'm a
it,
very firm believer. I pray every morning, every evening. I don't go to church, but I do pray, and I mean religiously. I pray in the morning and I pray in the evening. Sometimes I'll pray in the middle of the day just because I just need that in my uh, life.
yeah. Well, I wish you could. I wish you could find a great church over there where you live, and it would. It would really. I think it would really add a lot to your life and help you a lot because, if you find a good church, you find a good family, and that family is very very important. Let me ask you this: I've often thought of this myself. If I could go back and relive one match, you know, what match would that be? And I know what it is for me, but is there a match for Fidel? If you could go back, you say, man, I'd love to do this match again. It was so great.
I just don't. There's so many of them, like you just said. You know, I loved wrestling Carlos Colon in Puerto Rico because he was the Hulk Hogan of Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So many great matches with him, and I'm giving him his. He deserves it. I know he's suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's right now.
Yeah.
But I thought every now and then I'll say hello to him, and he'll remember my name. But I would say my matches with him, Ric Flair, Harley, the great wrestling Inoki by myself in Japan, and Inoki
Wow.
really liked me enough that he would we'd be in the building, he'd be way on the other side because there's nowhere you would come near each other in a Japanese locker room.
Yeah.
And there would be nobody in the arena. He'd say, "Assassin," and you know what I mean. But I had some good matches with him, great matches with Flair, great matches with Rip Crippler Oliver, great matches with Playboy Buddy Rose, and the list goes on and on. Me and Ricky Santana, we teamed, wrestled so many different people. Ricky was one of my best partners ever. I got to wrestle the grappler Linden, who was one of my best partners ever too. And it just, it's hard for me to say, okay, because I'd be cheating some of them. Yeah, because I loved wrestling Rick. I loved wrestling Jay Youngblood. I loved wrestling Ricky Steamboat, even knowing. Man, Ricky Steamboat taught me a lot in 1978 wrestling in the Carolinas because he was so good. He had so much fire. It was so easy. And uh, Ricky Steamboat to me was what a great baby face. Uh, Not a prima donna in no way. And I always speak very highly of him and Jay, God bless. But there's so many of them that couldn't.
Yeah.
I had great matches with Playboy Buddy Roses. We packed that Portland Sports Arena so many times.
Yeah. Well,
And the
I
late
got to tell
Kurt
you.
Hennig,
Yeah.
and he what a great wrestler. I was lucky enough, Paul. I got to manage him and me in Puerto Rico, and then we got to feud with one another in Oregon, and what a great Kurt Hennig was the best.
In the Bible, the church is called the body of Christ. Hopefully, you have a place that you call home when it comes to church. And hopefully, you attend there and hopefully, you find a connection with other people. But also, we live in a world where we are connected digitally and online. You're more than welcome to come visit the church at 434. That's where Chris Whaley and I are part of that staff. The website, touchandchange.net, touchandchange.net. Use the QR code to get there. You'll find all sorts of resources that will help you in your journey of faith. We look forward to seeing you at the church at 434.
Jeff, we got some dead air time. What are you doing?
Chris, I'm looking at the Church at 434 app. It's an incredible app. It's absolutely free. And you can watch us, you can watch video, you can get resources for your walk and your journey of faith, and it's absolutely free. Just go to the Church at 434 and your app store, Google Play, and just download it and join us online all the time.
I got to tell you, Lynn Denton was my very first match.
Oh
My
yeah,
very first, and I remember I was so nervous, and I got in the ring, and I broke my nose about 2 minutes into the ring, and then all the nervousness just left. Yeah. So, but he was great. He was great. Well, we're getting close. We're getting close to the end here. Tell us, is there anything that we can promote for you? Anything that you got coming up, or?
I know that on May 9th, you got Twisted Wrestling Alliance at the Twisted Fork in by Sarasota there,
Uh-huh.
Newport or whatever. And then I'm going to be at Herb Simmons, SICW's Fan Fest. And I'm going to
Yeah.
be for Jerry Briscoe at the Waterloo, Iowa show that he does. And then I'll be at CAC, which is the best thing in the world. Have you ever gone to CAC, Chris?
Oh yeah, I was there the day that you talked about Ricky Santana when you know.
Oh, but yeah, he got inducted. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's Brian Blair and Darla and Barbara Goodish, and they all do such a great job. I
They
think
do a
the
great job.
CAC,
Yeah.
I love promoting them because they help out so many of the boys
Yeah,
and
they do.
have helped so many and still do. And that I go every year. I'm a lifetime member.
Yeah.
Paula, my wife's a lifetime member.
Yep.
We
So am
we
I.
got I know on the 4th of April 4th, we go to Larry Hamilton Sr.'s inducting fantasy into the Managers Hall of Fame. I already been inducted in the men's.
That's awesome. Hey man,
Yeah.
we've come to the end here. We can't tell you how much we appreciate
Oh
your
my
time.
gosh, yes.
Jeff, you got
Yes,
anything?
No, thank you so much. I mean, this has been fun. I
thank
love it.
you all. I'm glad y'all help out putting stuff out there for the business, and it's been a pleasure. And I really thank y'all very much. God bless you.
God bless you.
You
And
too.
and let's talk again soon.
We'll do
Okay.
it. That
God
sounds
bless.
great. All right, Fidel, thank you. Well, I think now we have, we probably have not really answered the question, but I think, Chris, I'm going to start to go with you. You're the saint.
I am.
We'll go with that time.
I was
as much as we like Fidel, he was a guest,
Yeah.
but we still have to,
Yeah.
you still have to be the real saint.
I was a saint before he was. I know that. When I was in Texas, and one of my buddies told me, "Hey, there's somebody else working as a saint now." So I knew that for sure. But
he's still wrestling though. We might have to throw you guys in the ring and have at it. Battle of Mask.
Well, we were supposed to build that heat for. Remember when we did the match in 2000 and when
I remember.
it? When was it? 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I worked, and we were supposed to work against him and Ricky Santana, and that did not. They had a commitment in Puerto Rico, so we didn't get to do that. But he was gonna build that heat for that.
Well, we could have that kind of rematch, but if we did, your wife would never speak to me again.
Never.
And she would kick you out of the house because that was supposed to be it. Best I can remember.
It needs to be it because I just, I love doing it, but I just can't get up off the mat.
I got you.
Too many knee injuries. Yeah.
I understand.
Well, you're gonna go out this week, and it's gonna be an awesome week for you. And whatever you do, remember, don't tap out.